15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Nope, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Hey, you guys. Welcome to the Skates to Throats podcast. This is your host, Chris Patton, and as always, I'm joined here with the beautiful Dakota Lashak. How's it going, bud?
How's it going? It is going spectacularly. No, it is. It's been a good slate of games in the hockey world. Relatively quiet week, so there's that. It's been going.
It's been a weird week of hockey because we've had days that were stacked with like 13 games and days that had one game.
Yeah.
Like now.
The days you want to watch hockey, there's only one game on, and then the days you don't want, it's like 20 games crammed up your ass.
I'm currently watching the New Jersey Buffalo game. Devils just tied it up. It is currently 1-1 here on a beautiful Saturday.
They better figure out something, man. Things are not looking too good for them right now.
Yeah, it's tight. It's tied up. I mean, they played. We'll get into the games against the Flyers. I'm sure you have a lot to say. Wedgwood has not looked great. He looked okay in that first Flyers game. He's looking okay today. He did give up kind of a shot I think he should have had stick side, but we'll get into that when we get into that. Let's start out with a little bit of news and some big news, and a lot of it just kind of circled around one game this week, which is got several players coming back to play in this Bruins Capitals game. One of the big names out there that people have been waiting for, especially if you're a big bad Bruin fan, is Pasternak.
Oh, pasta machine is coming out.
Yes, so I figured we'll just tackle all this in a row since it.
What do you think the odds are that he scores in his first game back?
Probably about 100%.
That's what I thought too.
He just had, if I'm not mistaken, he had hip surgery back in September. This is going to be his first game back. It's also looking like Ovechkin is coming back to play against the Bruins. He's cleared to return. Him and Orlov both are cleared to return from the NHL COVID-19 list. And we got Chara in his first game against his Bruins brothers.
Oh, man. What a weird fucking game that's going to look like.
It is. And it was kind of looking like that right now with watching just as a fan when you see something like this. Right now, Taylor Hall is playing the Devils for the first time with a Sabres jersey on, which just looks fucking off-putting. So I can only imagine if you've watched, let's say, the majority of Chara's career in a Bruin sweater playing against his former team.
They posted a picture of him with like the shortest player on the team, and the size difference was hilarious, but it's just weird to see him in a Capitals jersey.
Yeah, he got his first goal this week, which as a Cap, which is interesting, to say the least. But, I mean, this is the game I think a lot of people have circled on their calendars with Ovi coming back, Pasternak coming back, Chara meeting up for the first time. So I think that's one that I'm definitely looking forward to watching.
Oh, yeah, man. This is like an old school WWF match.
Yeah, rivalries all around for sure. And, hey, Veda, how's it going?
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Skates to Threads podcast.
Yeah, she is ever so slightly working her way up.
Obviously, with COVID, and I know all the listeners out there, you're aware we have a new father here. If you listen to Knuckles Nyland roast him loud last week's show.
By the way, Veda is my second child. If anybody needed to know, I do have a son as well.
Well, yeah, but
love him to death.
Let's say you have a baby. Let's say that. But yeah, so let's move along from the Bruins game. We get Alexis Lafreniere scoring his first goal. A lot of people have been a little down on Lafreniere so far, and I would just say, look, it's still early in the season. You didn't really get a full training camp for these teams, So it was good for him to get his first goal here for sure. Um, do you have any thoughts on Alexis Lafreniere's first goal, and what do you think about the Rangers team, I guess, in general so far?
Lackluster. They definitely haven't found their rhythm. Doesn't seem like it. It's nice to see Lafreniere get his first goal, although you know the more important question is, does he follow through with this? Does he go on a streak, or does he just kind of like fade into the background?
Well, it's the lines they have been playing have been really, really weird, in my opinion, and the defense has not helped them. But he scored his first point in goal in overtime against the Sabres. Made New York wins 3-2, and it was cool to see because he gets this huge hug from Panarin, who has not started out very strong himself, to be completely honest. But good
Nah.
to see this guy finally get over the hump, get his first goal. If you're a Rangers fan, this is something you got to be very excited about. But that defense has been atrocious. I believe the Rangers are currently sitting in last place in the division.
Hang on, that might be. Can't remember if it was the Devils or the Rangers.
The Devils are in sixth. So.
Oh yeah, they are in last. I'm sorry, I get Rangers, Islanders, Devils confused. It's all in the very small tri-state area.
Yeah, and the Devils are sitting above 500 or sitting at 500 right now, where you got your Islanders at under 500 and the Rangers way below 500 right now at like 0.357 or something.
Yeah. Not a good-looking Rangers team so far. Not a good-looking Islanders team either, though.
Well, that's the crazy thing about the Islanders is they started out really strong, and I thought they looked good. They, win against the Devils in one game, drop another, and then have kind of been on a little bit of a losing streak here.
Yeah.
The division's so weird, and it's hard to say. I mean, the Devils are currently Travis Zajac is on COVID protocol, so we'll have to wait on his 2 games to hit 1,000 for I guess another 2 or 3 weeks. Mackenzie Blackwood obviously on protocol, which we've talked about. We talked about on Sunday, which obviously did not help them out against the Flyers.
Nope.
And may not help them out against the Sabres, which, like I said, that game is tied up right now. But it's a weird division. It's the teams that I thought would be there are there. I think I had the Rangers maybe sledding into that 4th spot.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't expect them to be as bad as they've been. Penguins have not been really good, though, either.
Yeah, and man, what a weird team. They have like a -6 goal differential right now.
What a weird freaking situation they've got going on, too.
And I mean, that takes us into kind of one of the news articles, which is Malkin coming out and saying, hey, he's not happy at his level of play. He said, I need to look at myself in the mirror and I need to fight. I need more fight in my body. I need more fight in myself, and I need to help the team win. I understand that. I'm not happy with my game right now. It's just come to the rink every day, work hard, fight every shift. It's hard to play right now without fans. It's a little different, but we're all in the same situation. I include myself too. It's tough to say many good things about my game right now, but I hope it's coming and I believe in myself. And we talked about this. I think that he's still not 100%, honestly, after watching him play. I mean, it's Malkin. It's a guy we've been watching for years and years. But he hasn't looked good. And we talked about this on last week's show. He had a little bit of a tough week. He rings one off the crossbar in overtime, and then he gets on a 3-on-1 breakaway in OT. Decides to pass the puck up to in close. Rask just denies that shit, and then the Bruins go down and score, ending that game. So I mean, if you're watching Malkin right now, it's been sad. It's a slow start's not unusual for Malkin. But in his first games I guess his first 8 games last season, he was 2 goals, 5 assists, and right now he's nowhere near that.
Not really doing anything like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just been weird to watch him play. That's the best way to put it. And hopefully, I think he's not going to be like this forever. I don't think that Malkin's game has completely fell off a cliff.
No. And this is also a Pittsburgh Penguins team. I can't remember if I saw it in the notes or not. Their GM quit this week for personal reasons.
Yeah, that is the one big news story that I think I left off the notes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is a team that is. It seems like some things are going on. Uh, I don't know if things are going on behind the scenes that are just causing tensions or whatever.
so obviously we don't have this written in stone, but there have been rumors that they were trying to move Letang or move Malkin,
Send him
and
to Philly. We will take him.
that basically Rutherford had a deal worked out. Maybe, and they don't know. They didn't list any players, but this is something that's been going on. I mean, they talked about it on Hockey Buzz. I believe they talked about it a little bit on Twitter with the Puck Podcast, and Elliot Friedman also kind of talked about it a little bit. So, where there's smoke, there's fire. But this is a rumor. We don't know this for sure. But the idea is that Jim Rutherford's looking at blowing some of this team up and trying to rebuild, whereas ownership is still in a win now mode.
Yeah, I don't think they have the lineup for win now, though. That's the thing. Because we've seen that drop off in play. Like, this current Penguins doesn't look like the same Penguins that won the Stanley Cup not too long ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that Yari has been as bad as people are giving him. The defense just hasn't been great. And the unfortunate thing for them is I have zero faith in Yari's backup. And moving Murray, I don't necessarily know was a great idea for them. Letang hasn't looked that bad to me, but he's a top line defenseman. That would be the easiest person to move. So I could easily see that trade being a thing and just not getting there. I mean, I guess the big question is who do they pick back up. I could see them bringing back in an Ed Sheeran, especially if they're not trying to blow the team up.
Maybe, yeah.
He did take them to some Stanley Cups. He has a relationship there. Outside of that, I don't know who they bring in. The Hockey Buzzcast did a great job of breaking down some different prospects, but to me, Ray Shero is probably the guy I would look at first of bringing in. I mean, I think he didn't do a terrible job with the Devils. Some of the trades that they made seemed a little rushed, like, getting Subban didn't necessarily work out, or at least has not worked out yet. But Shero did make some good trades for moving people like Marcus Johansson at the trade deadline. A lot of stuff just picking up picks, and currently we're seeing it pay off a little bit with some of the young kids that we have now that have been drafted. He was a huge deal there in Pittsburgh, though. So, I mean, bringing in someone like him might be a good idea. Who knows? We do know that Sidney Crosby did come out and say that it surprised him. And it turns out this wasn't anything COVID related, as far as we're aware. When we say personal reasons, I'm assuming that he just disagreed with management based on everything we've heard so far.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I got from it.
And there's also rumors out there that Mario Lemieux may be trying to sell his portion of the team or take a smaller role as owner. I don't know how much legs that has, but it's definitely something that's been talked about out there in the media, which could have played into this. Who knows?
Possibly. It remains to be seen. Either way, things are looking a little dicey in Pittsburgh, and they definitely need to work on the offense and shore up defense, because that type of play cannot sustain in this division.
Yeah, and speaking of that, there's been some surprises around the league, and they did a breakdown of this. And some of the players they have on here, I don't like. To me, Anze Kopitar shouldn't be a surprise.
No.
Like John Gibson being good for the Ducks, I don't necessarily think is a surprise. I don't know what team they've been fucking watching with Scott Wedgwood making this list. He had one shutout against the Islanders, but I don't know that was necessarily great play on his part or just bad play on the Islanders, as we've seen, who've kind of went into a slump since that game. The one person on here that I completely agree with, 100% agree with, is Bobby Ryan, who's just having kind of a resurgence in his career. He's playing on a very bad Detroit Red Wings team.
Yeah, but you know what? He's making the best of it.
And so far, he scored 8 points. He's got 5 goals, 3 assists. Or that was last year. I think he scored 4 goals in 7 games for the Red Wings. So
That's not bad at all.
I mean, especially considering what he has on that team that has a lot, like Zadina is out for them. I'll pull up. We'll talk about the COVID list a little later, but I know that they have like 4 injuries of starting players or people that are on the COVID list that normally would be there. They're in last place, and
yeah,
this is
pretty much familiar territory if you're a Red Wings fan.
But with this being a very short season and Bobby Ryan looking as good as he has, I could see him getting moved at the trade deadline and you getting a payoff for that. So if you're a Red Wings fan, at least you're getting to watch this version of Bobby Ryan. I think he's looked good so far this season. That's one of my biggest surprise. Another big surprise for me is Ty Smith for the Devils, who's currently the second highest scorer on the Devils. He just had another assist this game. I believe that he's up there in the Calder Cup for points for rookies. If I can pull up the NHL stats here, I think he was in second place last time I looked, which is surprising because he's putting those points in as a defenseman. We've seen this last year with Kel McCarr, and Quinn Hughes. But right now, for your rookies, Ty Smith is 1 point behind
Who's in first?
Kaprizov. But they're technically are tied right now. You know, the points won't update until after this game is over. But Ty Smith currently, I guess they're actually counting that as a goal and not an assist. It was hard to tell because Miles Wood was in front of the net. And like I said, this game is happening live. But yeah, looking good so far. That's one of my pleasant surprises, as well as Igor Sharangovich, who scored a game winner, has looked pretty good himself. I believe he has 3 goals so far this season and is just absolutely flying. And kind of came out of nowhere because I don't even think that he was expected to make the team, and now he's currently playing on the second line with Zajac being out. So those are 2 big surprises from people I've watched. Gibson being as good as he has in Anaheim, that is one that I agree with. Is there anyone on the list that Kaprizov I would consider a surprise just for how fast of a start he's gotten out, and he wasn't on that list. So any surprise players?
Yeah, no, Kaprizov is one I was going to say just because when's the last time you saw a rookie just completely break out like this kid's been doing?
Well, right now with the Ty Smith apparently, but outside of that, yes. Outside of that, yeah. I mean, they look like if they keep playing the way they're playing, that's going to be your top 2 in the Calder this year as far as voting goes. And we'll see. Yeah. I mean, it's a weird season.
It's been a really weird season so far, but a fucking enjoyable one at that.
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun watching, even though the Devils did not fare well, it was fun watching them play these back-to-back games against the Islanders and the Flyers over the past week. I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. What do we have next on the docket?
You actually talk about Kevin Fiala?
Yeah, let's talk about Kevin Fiala. You actually sent me this, so I'll let you synopsis this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a really, really fucking bad hit. So from the video that I watched, it looks like Patrick Roy, which I'm sorry, Matt Roy, not Patrick fucking Waugh. Matt Roy was going to the corner for the puck. Kevin Fiala came up behind him, and just as he was getting to the boards, he pushed him into it. Anyway, Roy went into it head first, so Fiala's been handed a 3-game suspension, no pay. So that's and you will forfeit $77,000, $586.21. So quite a bit of money. But yeah, it was a bad hit. I completely agree with the punishment. A lot of times you see these plays and maybe they're questionable. This is just a bad play. Like don't push someone down if you're that close to the boards.
Yeah, and just for anyone that hadn't seen it, this isn't a situation where the player tied the puck up in a board and he came in hot. The puck is way headed towards behind the net on the left side. You kind of see Roy going down, and just Fiala just gives him a good push and kind of, I don't know, reminded me a little bit of Claude Lemieux kind of hit. Gives him a good push, and he goes head first into the boards, which is definitely fucking scary.
Yeah, for sure.
And the rest of his team's down ice, so we didn't even get a scrum afterwards.
No,
But
he was pretty much escorted right off after that. It was pretty instantaneous.
I have a feeling that that's not the last we're going to see. That kind of hit will be remembered, I would think.
Oh, yeah, he's going to get his ass kicked the next time he steps onto the ice with him.
And I mean, Fiala by no means is a tough guy.
No, and this isn't the type of play he usually is known for. I think in this case it's just a bad judgment call.
Yeah, everyone makes mistakes, and this is his first suspension ever, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like this is he's not a Tanner Glass.
No, he's not a Victor Cromwell.
Yes, so yeah, it was a very unfortunate hit. I think they did the right thing. 3-game suspension.
Because you can't do that type of hit in this day and age.
Is this type of hit worse than hanging out in a hotel room like Ovechkin? Because didn't Ovi get 4 games?
I mean, it just depends on what they were doing because I don't think they were just playing hangman in the hotel room.
We still have not heard.
I don't think they were just coloring in their coloring books.
We have just heard that they have broken COVID protocols. So
yes.
What's the next on the news here? I had to step away from my laptop.
On the news docket here, yes. So we got the Golden Knights and the Sharks game being postponed due to, once again, COVID-19. So like we alluded to in the last episode, these type of things are going to happen. We are currently dealing with a worldwide pandemic. So pretty much we're just going to have to play this by ear. It was going to be a hell of a game to watch, mainly because I think the Sharks and the Golden Knight is probably my favorite rivalry to spring up in recent seasons, but also because the Sharks are terrible this season and the Golden Knights are like perennially good. So it should equate to a pretty decent ass whooping that I was very much looking forward to, and will continue to look forward to when they finally do play it.
And for new listeners out there, if you haven't known, let's just say the Golden Sharks are your girlfriend team.
Mm-hmm. The Golden Knights.
Or the Golden Knights, the Golden Sharks.
Golden Sharks.
That would be great.
I like gold.
That's like a James Bond
this fucking
bad
gold
guy
member.
kind of thing. Yeah,
freaking Golden Sharks.
Yeah, this is kind of the surprising thing to me is there hasn't been more of this in the West with everything that's going on in California. I guess that was my biggest surprise.
Either they're doing a really good job at maintaining their protocols and doing the things that they need to do. So that's either a testament to the players' capacity to do the things that they need to do. And also the NHL and just how they're conducting this. I think that's what that means.
Yeah, and I mean, this ties back to the Central Division, which I don't think there's any way that those teams get to 56 games.
No.
So, while that sucks, I could see them easily only playing 40 games this season, just because of how many games have been delayed. And if you start seeing this in the West, you could see similar activity. So far, we haven't had anything postponed in the North or the East yet that I'm aware of.
Yeah, which has been really surprising. I thought for sure, like in the New York, I guess, New Jersey, Philly area would be particularly bad. But yeah, no, I haven't seen anything.
We've seen a lot of COVID protocols where players have been taken away, but that to me, that means that they're handling it properly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, not sacrificing safety for points, you know?
Yes, which we'll see if that continues or some team kind of bucks the trend and ends up getting fined like $1 bazillion.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir,
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
We fine you $1 trillion.
Kind of some more positive news. Willie O'Ree, he's been, kind of a big face this year for the NHL. They've definitely been doing a lot with him. I'm assuming they will continue that right now with the fact that it's Black History Month starts in February. They've definitely made some focus on Black Lives Matter. I know New Jersey is doing a support Black businesses movement currently, and a bunch of other teams around the league. But basically, Willie O'Ree gets his COVID vaccine. He is a 85-year-old hockey Hall of Famer, and he's like, there are not a lot of Black people who are getting their shots. He was like, maybe, they can say now Willie O'Ree, he stood in line, he's getting his shot. Maybe it'll help everyone out. And basically, he's just trying to do this to be a positive role model.
As he always has, because that's the type of person he is.
And
goddamn treasure.
He came out and he said history absolutely plays a role to why communities of color are hesitant to get the vaccine. And basically just went on to say this, but I think this is just, it's been good the way the NHL has been handling what's already been a weird year with the protests and dissension in the country in general. But yeah, that was a little bit of a positive news, and I think really cool for Willie O'Ree just continues to be fucking awesome, which he's already in our Hall of Fucking Awesome. I think he was one of the first players that we put in. So
I believe he is. Yes.
And moving on to some further happy news before we end on, I don't want to say a sad note, but a sadder note, another goalie retiring. But we have two big hockey productions coming out.
Fuck yeah, man! This is what I'm talking about, man. This is like the late '90s all over again. Hockey's gonna be super popular. It's gonna be dope.
I hope so. We have Riley starring in both of these films from Letterkenny. Funny enough. But Odd Man Rush, which is based on a true story. When I sent you the trailer. Did you get a chance to watch the trailer?
Oh yes, I watched both trailers. It looks really good, honestly.
It does. So
I think
it's being produced by the same people that produced Mystery Alaska. So
yeah,
if you like Mystery Alaska, it's going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, they have a track record with hockey movies, so it seems like it's in good hands. Had a kind of like Miracle-esque feel to it, in just terms of atmosphere. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it I guess I'll give it a watch.
Yeah, I mean it's I guess one of the big things here, and probably very notable for NHL fans, is the son of Wayne Gretzky, Trevor Gretzky, is a star in this film.
Yes.
We also get the daughter of Mario Lemieux, Alexa Lemieux. She
is the composer. She composed the score.
And NHL defenseman and current Edmonton Oilers associate coach Jim Playfair. From what I can tell, it's a little bit of a love story about a player who gets injured and ends up having to go play in the Swedish Hockey League, and kind of his story from there. And from what I can tell, it's based on a true story. But anytime you give me kind of like a Mystery Alaska type vibe, or tell me that the producers of Mystery Alaska is going to be doing a new film, I'm definitely going to give it a watch.
Kenny's in it.
Yes. It's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. And then I guess the news that I know me and you are going to be very, very excited about is, hey man, we're getting more story from the Mighty Ducks.
Fucking A right. And I got to tell you, when I saw Emilio Estevez next to that frickin' Zamboni, I just thought, he looks an awful lot like Martin Sheen. And then it clicked. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's his dad.
Yeah. I'm a smart guy.
It was there's one great line from Riley, who I guess his real name is Dylan, but for our purposes, we're just going to continue to call him Riley. I'm just kidding. But he has a line in the trailer where he's cutting this kid. This kind of has a Little Giants vibe, where God, what is the lady from Gilmore Girls name? Lauren Graham. Lauren Graham is
Excuse
one of
me.
the stars of this show. She's absolutely beautiful. Love Lauren Graham. Have always had
Do
a crush.
always so much. Just absolutely everything about her.
So it's exciting to have Lauren Graham and Emilio Estevez in a film together. That'll be fun. But the big line here I caught from the trailer was, I guess Riley or Dylan's character comes out. He's like, if you can't be great at hockey, it's like, why even bother? While he's cutting this kid.
I mean, he's got a point though.
So from the trailer, it looks like they go and they try to find a place, I guess, where they can practice, and they find this old ring called the Ice Palace in Minnesota. And who's there keeping the ice, holding the ice down with the Zamboni, as you pointed out, Emilio Estevez.
Martin Sheen himself.
Yes, Martin Sheen himself. Very exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to this. I hope this gets a whole generation of kids into hockey the way that this movie got me into hockey as a kid. And yeah, just good stuff. I mean, Disney Plus has been, I mean, they're playing on a lot of our nostalgia, but it seems like this is, I mean, they're using younger kids than they had in the first Mighty Ducks movie, from what I can tell. Apparently, Pee Wee hockey.
No, the lack of Flyers hats I noticed too in that trailer. Can't help but wonder where my fucking goalie is.
Well, I mean, you know, Goldberg was from Philly, right?
Yeah.
But lived in Minnesota was the original storyline of why he wore Flyers gear.
Okay, well, make the next one a Flyers fan. That's all I'm asking. I don't care how you do it.
Lots of Minnesota University gear, from what I could see in the
Oh yeah.
in the movie. Maybe we'll get some Minnesota players. Maybe we'll get some
Maybe
Zach
we'll get
Parise.
to finally see a mini Haha Waves game.
Either way, I'm super excited about this. I hope everyone else out there is excited and will check it out. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's good that they were able to get Emilio Estevez involved in this.
Yes. And he is wearing a fantastic Harrison Ford in the Force Awakens disguise.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be great, man. I'm looking forward to it. And I guess that brings us to our last news topic, which is, from what I can gather, Jimmy Howard retires because he doesn't want to play for fucking Edmonton.
No.
So he just officially retires for now.
I mean, do you blame him though? Like, yeah, you're getting to play with like Connor McDavid and stuff, but you have to fucking play for Edmonton.
Yeah,
and you're Jimmy Howard.
Yeah, which
and
is
not 2008.
Great. And they have not looked great this year. I mean, I could, like I said, the only teams I saw that could be potentially trying to sign him would be Toronto, which I don't know that they obviously lost out on Aaron Dell when they sent him down on waivers because he signs with the Devils. I would have assumed
fucking great pickup for you guys.
Yes, and I assumed that the Devils would have been either in on Howard before that waiver went down. I figured the two teams that would have been in on Howard would have been the Oilers and the Devils, just because the Devils obviously lost Crawford. They currently have Wedgwood in net, which, because Blackwood is on COVID protocol, Jimmy Howard had a pretty good career. I don't know that I would call it a Hall of Fame career. He is.
Yeah. No, let's back it up though. Hang on. You can't say that's not a Hall of, he was a part of that dynasty. A big part of that dynasty. I don't know if, the few seasons that it was, I don't know if that qualifies him, but you can't discount what he was.
Well, let's look up Detroit's last cup win first and foremost, because their last cup win was 2007-2008, and he played 4 games that season. So he really became into Detroit in 2009 to 2010, and the Red Wings streak, their playoff streak, as far as I remember, ended in 2015.
Okay, so I mean, he was still a part of the playoffs run a bit, but I get what you're saying. I don't know. I can't look at Jimmy Howard as not a big part of. I mean, you saw the his post that he made. It was mostly aimed at the Red Wings fans. He's a big part of that team. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I would say so. I mean, he was their constant presence in the net. He played
Do you
with the
think
world.
they retire his number?
I don't know. Have they retired Chris Osgood's number?
Probably not.
Because those are, I would say that they're very similar.
Yeah, that's fair.
He was part of the World Cup team twice as the goaltender in the World Cup team. Neither of those teams, I believe he finished in 7th and 5th, so that's not glowing numbers. But he played there the same year as Corey Snyder, I believe, was one of the other goaltenders, and Jonathan Quick, I want to say, was their third. Probably the most memorable thing, if you're a University of Maine fan out there, you get the great game between him and Corey Snyder, both in net, and Howard pitching a shutout in that game. So if you're, as far as big stuff happens, that would be it. But we just look at his career stats real quick. He played 543 games. He started 523 of those, won 246, lost 196. 70 of those games go into overtime, which I think is an important stat because he played through all of the shootout years. So some of those games are a coin toss, but he finishes with a .92 or .912 save average with 24 shutouts and over almost 31,000 minutes played. I think a very good career. I don't know.
Not necessarily Hall of Fame, though.
Yeah. But, shout out. I watched a lot of Jimmy Howard. As we've talked about on the show before, my roommate was a huge Red Wings fan, and Jimmy Howard was the constant presence in net. Him and Mrazek for a long period of time there during the time that my roommate lived with me. So I've watched a lot of Jimmy Howard. I think he's a pretty damn good goaltender. You don't get asked to play, for Team USA in the World Cup if you're not a fucking good goaltender.
Yeah. Like, if you can't even play hockey, then why are you here?
If you can't be great at hockey, why even do it?
Yeah.
As Riley would say. Let's just really quickly go into the standings. We're going to have a little bit of a shorter show today. But yeah, so right now in the North Division, the Scotia North Division.
It's so weird to me. I don't like saying that. I don't like saying the Mass Mutual East. I just thought you remember that scene in Idiocracy where everything that dude said, he followed it up with sponsored by Carl's Jr.?
Yes.
That's what I feel like every time I have to fucking say the Mass Mutual East or the Scotiabank North.
So with 9 games played, 7 wins, 2 losses, you got Toronto in first place. In second place, we got Montreal with 5 wins, 0 losses, and 2 overtime points, sitting at 12. They've obviously played 2 less games. Same thing with Winnipeg. Winnipeg is 5. I've won 5 games, lost 2. They're sitting at 10 points, and Vancouver rounds out your top 4. They're at 5-5, so directly at 500 with 10 points. Edmonton kind of surprising, Calgary kind of surprising, and Ottawa maybe not so much as far as where they're sit, but with Edmonton and Calgary, Edmonton's got 6 points so far, 3 wins, 6 losses, a .333 percentage. And same thing with Calgary. They're at a .417. They've played 3 less games than Edmonton, so it's not. I don't think they're as in dire need as Edmonton. Edmonton really needs to get going in the shortened season. You play 9 games. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, you don't have any time to be bad.
I mean, that's the thing. The Devils need to at least get a point today. Even talking about my team, currently the game's tied, by the way, 2-2 for those listening. But yeah, you can't fall behind. You can't fall far behind if you want any chance of making the playoffs. And I mean, hell, they're not Ottawa. Ottawa is 1-6 right now with 8 games played, which is just terrible. The goal differential is looking similar to the Red Wings last year at -19. So not a lot of positive things that I can think of as far as if you're an Ottawa fan goes. But I hope, we got a very heavy draft this year, so that's good.
Yeah, that is true.
We talked about the East Division earlier, so I'll just go over the leaders. We got Washington in first, Boston in second, Philly in third. You picked up 2 wins against the Devils. this week.
Yeah, they
and
did.
Pittsburgh in 4th place. We'll go over this real quickly for the people that listen to this because we talk about Jersey and the Flyers so much. The Devils came back to tie the game, headed into the 3rd, take some dumb penalties. The score ends up, 5-3 by the end of the game. The game was a lot closer than it looks by the end of the 3rd period, but the Devils picked up a ton of really dumb penalties in the 2nd, and somehow fought their way back. But the following game, the Thursday night game, was not close at all. Wedgwood looked awful. I think it finished up 4-1, right?
Yeah.
I will say the big thing to take away from, at least from the Flyers side of things, is both Elliott and Hart looked very good. Hart, after letting in 1 goal by Severson on Thursday, which was an absolute blast snipe, so I'm not going to blame him too much on that one, looked completely solid the rest of the game, which is the follow-up from his mental breakdown in Boston, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a Flyers fan, that was good to see. Also, Gostisbehere coming back in. Very positive stuff for you guys. I don't think that he didn't look incredible, but he also looks like, shake some rust off, see where things go.
Yeah. He's a solid defenseman. I don't think Flyers fans have anything to worry about with him. He produces when he's on the ice and he's healthy. So as long as he can stay that way, I think he's going to be a good contribution. And shore up our defensive line because we do need help with that.
Yep, and not to drive the point home, but Islanders and Rangers sitting dead last currently.
Yep. Fucking New York, man, can't catch a break this season.
Yeah, they're 1 point apart from each other. I don't know that there's as much to worry about with the Islanders, but the Rangers, they need something to happen. I don't know if they need to make a trade to pull in get a defenseman, and I don't know where you would go to get that defenseman, but they need some help on the defensive side. And Georgiev's looked good. Shesterkin, people have already started bashing on this year, and he looked okay. The game I saw them play against the Devils, they switched goalies in the 2nd, so they went from Georgiev to Shesterkin like mid-game, so I haven't got to see a whole lot of the Rangers so far this season. I've been watching a lot of Flyers, a lot of Devils, a lot of Bruins. Call it, any team the Devils have played, I've seen more, but I've only seen that one game with the Rangers, so I'm not going to speak of all of their troubles, but from what I can tell right now, defense, at least in that Devils game, their defense looked very, very suspect.
Yeah, for sure.
That brings us to the Discovery Central,
Sponsored by Carl's Jr.,
which is a weird division because currently in 2nd place we have a team that's only played 4 games, which is the Dallas Stars. They're 4-0 with 8 points. Columbus is leading with 11 points. They're 4-2 with 3 overtimes. They're 1-1 in shootout. So kind of let you know what happened in those games. But following in 3rd place, we have Nashville, who's at 8 points. They're tied. They've played 7 games. They're 4-3. And Florida, who's also only played 4 games. They're currently 3-0-1. So they're sitting at 7 points. Tampa, surprisingly, after starting pretty strong, are 3-1-1.
Yeah, it's really weird to see Tampa and New Jersey so close to each other in league standings.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. But they've only played 5 games. The Central is just so weird. The teams that have played the most games being Chicago, Detroit, and Columbus. And Detroit is in last place at 2-5-1. Carolina is in 7th they're 3-1 with 6 points. So that's not a bad record. It's just like they only have 6 points. So that's just where they're at right now. Chicago is ahead of them, but has looked way more terrible than Carolina. Yeah. And they're 2-4. With 2 wins and 4 losses. That's a weird division. I don't think they're going to play all 56 games. So if you're getting out to a quick start, that's where you want to be in life.
Yeah, fucking Dallas going from dead last to 2nd place in a matter of 4 games.
Yeah.
Cowabunga it is.
that pretty much wraps us up for the day. I mean, real quick, I'm going to talk about all the people that are currently on COVID protocol. We're not going to do a game breakdown for the games that we all watched this week, just due to time constraints. But let me see if I can find those injuries real quick from TSN. And I'm just going to go through all the people currently on COVID protocol. Carolina Hurricanes, they currently have 5 players on protocol, probably the biggest being Teravainen.
Ooh, yeah.
The Blackhawks had Adam Boquist and Adam DeBrincat on COVID protocol.
All right, both Adams.
Colorado Avalanche have their goaltender Francouz, or is it Francois? I can't ever remember.
I think it's Francouz, but I always feel suspect saying that because I'm like, I'm not comfortable saying that last name.
So
it's like Francois. I don't like it. Not my favorite last name.
He is currently out with a lower body injury, so he's not on COVID protocol. Sorry, my bad on that one. Let's see.
It's okay. You're only human.
The Red Wings have 2 big names. They have Philippe Zadina, Sam Gagne, John Merrill, who's the defenseman they brought in, former Devil, as well as Fabry, all on COVID protocol currently. Oilers not hit as bad. They have a goalie, Grosnick, who is on protocol. I think that's their 3rd goalie, though. And Haas, one of their centers, is on COVID protocol. Athanasiou for the LA Kings, that's a big loss for them. He's out with COVID protocol, listed as day-to-day. Let's see. Devils hit hard this week. They got Aaron Dell's out, COVID protocol. Mackenzie Blackwood still on COVID protocol, and Travis Zajac still on protocol, or is on COVID protocol as of the 28th. The Rangers have Richards out, COVID protocol. So let's see. I think that might be all of the COVID protocols. But as Devils got fucking shafted. 2 of their goalies. Well, the Washington Capitals, they're going to start getting some of these players back, but they have Kuznetsov, Samsonov, Ovechkin, and Orlov. Ovechkin and Orlov are already off, which makes me think that Mackenzie Blackwood must actually have COVID since he's been out 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is worrisome. But
very troublesome. But these guys were playing Scrabble in their hotel room, so.
Yes. Big one for the Vegas Golden Knights, your girlfriend team, is Alex Pietrangelo. Yes. He went out on COVID protocol on the 27th. Obviously a big part of that defense.
Yes, he is.
Pierre-Luc Dubois, he is on COVID protocol, but it's only because he got traded. So I don't know how long that's going to be.
That's just the 14-day.
Yeah, that's similar to what happened with Aaron Bell. But that's going to wrap us up for today. Dakota, say goodbye to the good people.
I will. You can always follow me at LeShock Dakota. I'll have to apologize for the shortness of this. If you can't hear, my daughter in the background is finally melting down, so I have to go tend to her. But yes, you can follow me at LeShock Dakota. I float around Geek Vibes from show to show, so never know where you're going to catch me. But, drop me a line on Twitter. Definitely give me a follow. I'll keep you updated.
Yep, and if you want to follow me, you can hit me at Chris R. Patton on Twitter, Christopher.R.Patton on Facebook, and Chris R. Patton on Instagram. I did a show with WandaVision. If you want to check that out, you can. And that's it for us. And as always, peace out, and let the Geek Vibes be with you.
"15 minutes could save you 15% or more."
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Nope, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.